Hello, everyone. Welcome to my live stream. This is not usual for me, but I'm really fortunate and glad to do this. Hopefully, this works out. So, I just want to do this live stream because I want to thank all the viewers and subscribers for being with me on this journey. It's been 3 years. Look at this. John, hi from San Diego. Hope you can hear me. Thanks for joining me. So I'm just gonna go through, kind of reminisce about my channel a bit, and just highlight some of the videos that I've done over the last 3 years, and hopefully that will bring back some memories for some viewers and subscribers, and also encourage you to kind of view these videos again. And then at the end of this, I just opened up the Chateau Petrus today as a celebration, as I promised my viewers and subscribers. And hopefully I will be able to do that video in the next week or so, but I'm going to give you my initial impressions. But sneak preview, this is a ridiculous wine. I'm so glad. If you look at the cork, it's perfect. It came out perfectly. The first impression that I had with this wine when I drank it was, I wish everyone or every wine was like this wine. And if every wine in the world was like Chateau Petrus, I think we would have gazillion wine drinkers. It's unbelievable. And so I'll go on about that a little bit more. So anyways, let's go back to the beginning of this channel. And I'm just going to go down memory lane a little bit for all those viewers and subscribers. And please comment. I know a lot of you have made comments over the years, and I'm hoping that I'm going to highlight some of the very first subscribers. I'm hoping they're still with me, even if they're not on the live stream. That hopefully they give me a shout out and let me know that they're still out there and kicking around. So I started this in August of 2020 during COVID, and the real reason for that is really, I was a little bored. I wasn't able to socialize with my friends and drink a lot. And also, I was looking for something that YouTube didn't have. So a lot of times when I was drinking wines, like let's say 1998 Petrus, I'd go to YouTube and I couldn't find anything or anyone who's drank that wine. And so it was all very general information. And that's why I did this channel, because a lot of times you see the reviews of wines are basically the wines that you can buy today. And that's great when you first buy them, but how about if you store the wine for 5 or 10 years, what happens to that wine? I could never find anyone who did those type of videos, and that's why I did this channel. Hopefully this is helpful to people. I'm so glad to see that more people are doing this, and we're seeing more and more. Even the wine experts are going to high-end wines. I know that's not everyone's market, but from my perspective, this is really healthy. I'm a subscriber, I'm a viewer of other YouTube channels, wine YouTube channels. I'm a fan, and I learn a lot from other wine YouTubers. And so it's really nice to have that difference. This idea that we all have to be the same and all have the same opinion, I don't think that's right. I think we should have a diverse kind of selection of people on YouTube. Some that are really slick, some that are like me that are just very amateurish. Some have different point of views. It's all very good to have that. And I like the idea, hopefully, that I give you some opinions that are not the norm. And I'll highlight some of those. So I'm just going to go down memory lane a little bit. So this whole live stream is about 30 minutes. So hopefully you'll stay with me and make some comments. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. And I'm really just so glad to, be able to have this conversation with my viewers and subscribers like I do all the time. So I started this in August of 30th of 2020 with my first video on a valley wine called Domaine Basquet. I don't know if anyone remembers that video. It was terrible. The lighting was terrible. Camera was terrible. It was ridiculous. It was so bad. But I still had 65 people view it. So I was so happy about that. I think one of my most popular videos early on was December 31st of 2020. I did a video on Veuve, comparative between Veuve and Moet, the champagne. And that is one of my most popular videos to date. I have 17,000 views of that. And that video, I should do another one. I should do another comparative tasting with two champagnes. And like I've always said, when I do comparative tastings, it's not about a winner. I don't think that's more for marketing. For me, it's about distinguishing the two tastes. When we do two champagnes, we have to distinguish so that people know what. If both champagnes taste the same or both are excellent, that doesn't really help a consumer. I have to say, well, this one tastes like this one tastes like this, one is more acidic. And I think that's what I try to do in my videos. Another big highlight was when I did in February 2021, the Camus 2018 with the 2016 special selection, and that's got 8,000 views. Camus is a controversial wine, but I don't think we should ever go away from controversy. I take very probably not popular views sometimes. I think it's important to have alternative views in this universe. And I'm a big believer of Camus. I like Camus. I'm not a big fan of Napa wines, but I like the story of Camus. I still like their wines. No, I'm not going to drink them every day. I do acknowledge they're really sweet and fruity, but I like how they're produced, and I think they're good winemakers. And so that may not be a popular viewpoint, but I think it's important to have different views in this wine world. And that's what I try to present. Another very controversial video I did was on Ace of Spades. And that was in August of 2021. That has 22,000 views. Again, popular consent is, oh, it's just a wrapper wine. It's not good. But honestly, I like the wine. So I don't know. I think I'm a pretty reasonable person. I think I should be allowed to have that viewpoint. And I think I try to tell people what I like about it. It's not about the just saying I like it, but I think explaining your reasons. And likewise, I've had great conversations with others where they've explained that they don't like it. And I have no issue with people not liking Ace of Spades. I have an issue when people have an opinion and they haven't had it. Well, I hate that wine, or I hate Camus, but have you had it? And tell me why. Oh, I don't like it. I've heard that it's bad. It's like, that's really not useful. I really encourage people to form their own opinions, to drink the wine. Experts have their views, but no one knows your palate like you do. And so I really, if anything on this channel, I'm hoping that I can encourage people to try the wines, be confident in your own opinion, no matter what other people say. I'm just going to read a couple of comments here. Good. I'm glad that people don't have any problems. Vinsamek, thank you very much. And okay, so you were drinking Guido Alberto. I actually love that wine, and I did a video on that wine very early on, I think about 2 years ago. And unfortunately, the prices have really driven on these prices, of these wines. And I wish if I was going back 20 years, I had a channel like this out there, and I would buy a lot of these, what I highlight as value wines. Guido Alberto is a great wine. The Serra Nueva is a great wine. These are all going to go up in price. Same thing with the Barbarescos, from Proudicori to Barbaresco. I really encourage people to take advantage when things are well priced. Because at one point in history, Lafite was well priced. At one point in history, Petrus was well priced. And so you have to recognize quality and, if take that advantage when you can. And some of these wines will really pay a lot of dividends. So I'm going back. In June of 2021, I accomplished 10,000 views. And at that point, I was like thrilled at getting that number. And today I'm almost close to, I think today I checked, I'm over 700,000 views. And that to me just blows my mind, because when I first started, I was just doing this, and I was so happy when I had 20 subscribers. So I know that people probably think, Trophy, you're making such a big deal about 5K. Who cares? Lots of people at 5K. To me, it's a big deal because I'm not a YouTuber. I've never wanted to be. I'm not good at this at all. And so I was really happy about that at that time. And I think I drank it Beyond Sandy, and I love that wine. In June of 2021, I had 250 subscribers, and now I have 5,000. To me, that's really nice. Hey, Sam from Texas, thanks for joining us. I'm just reminiscing about some of the past videos, and then that's the teaser, and at the end, I'll talk a little bit about Chateau Petrus. One of my more popular series was the starting in August 2021, when I started the Bordeaux Basics series. And I hope that's helped people learn about Bordeaux. I talked about the 1855 classification, and then I talked about each of the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth growth wines in each one of them. I give you very Coles Notes versions of each wine, but it's kind of, I think things change. And the other thing that we have to recognize with wines is wines have cycles. For the top end wines, like the first growths, they're always good. But most wines cycle. And just because a wine, you didn't like it 10 years ago, doesn't mean you won't like it today, because lots have changed, right? The winemaker might have changed, the ownership might have changed, the climate might have changed, their philosophy might have changed. And so that's another kind of theme that I try to get through. Don't close the door to any wine. Don't, no matter what you think, try it. Have an open mind. And I think that serves you well in the wine world and in life. Try to be accepting of other opinions, and at least try to understand other people. You don't have to agree with what I say about wines, but I hope that you'll listen to kind of my rationale. And then I hope that viewers and subscribers feel that I listen when they have viewpoints. Because you just have to recognize when you like a wine, when you don't like a wine, and why you do it. And as long as you do that, I think it's fine. Don't let anyone tell you how you should enjoy life. That's really another point that I try to make in my video. I try to give people strength in terms of, I'm supposed to know what I'm talking about. I'm supposed to be a big high-end drinker, and I make mistakes. I don't pronounce things correctly. I can't blind taste. I don't get things correct. So I hope that gives other people confidence to say it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not to drink a wine early. It's okay to not be able to pronounce a wine. It's okay that you didn't know how to air a wine. This is all about life, and the key component to drinking is pleasure. If you are having fun, if you are enjoying the company, if you like the wine, that's all that matters. Who cares what some wine expert, including myself, thinks? Who cares if they say it's terrible wine? Who cares if they say it's 100-point wine? Don't let people run your life for you. Don't let people dictate to you what is your happiness, because your happiness is yours. It has nothing to do with someone else. And no matter how much wine knowledge you have, that does not replace your own palate and your own happiness. I'm just going to read a couple of other things. I've got a message from G Flow. Yes, I kind of recognize your name, so thanks for joining me. I'm just going to read your comment. I read the wine industry in general is on a downswing. Do you think that's true? Okay, so so let me talk a little bit about that topic. So wine, I think in general, wine drinking is on the decline. The reason being is that I think there are many people, young people, that don't drink. And there is, I did a video on this, there is fairly strong scientific evidence that drinking is probably not good for your health. There obviously are other indirect positive consequences of drinking, because when you drink, you're generally in a social setting. You're generally relaxed, and most people that have the ability to drink also are better socioeconomic level, and they have better access to healthcare, which is why they're healthier. Having said that, I think that the demand for wine or the knowledge for wine will increase because, and this is just my own thinking, this is not scientific, man needs art. So when we talk about art, when we talk about wine, when we talk about the love of watches, this is all an artistic expression. We need something else to fill our lives. And I don't think that will change. So will wine drinking in general go down? Yes. But will wine prices go down? No. Will Chateau Petrus go down? No. Will Lafite go down? No. Because there will always be demand in the market when you get to a certain level to understand these wines. And the desire to understand this wine or these wines will drive up the price. And I can only tell you that if you had the ability to drink Chateau Petrus, you would learn a lot about wine and you would savor wine so much more. Unfortunately, it is very expensive. So Raptor 1325, what was the first wine that led you to drinking, and what is your favorite Valley Bordeaux Reds? Okay, so I told this story before. The first wine and why I got into wines was a wine called Chateau Petrus. I was at the BC liquor stores and they release wines every year. And I did all my research and I went to the liquor store and wanted all these wines like Costa Esternal. And so, but I went 3 weeks after they released. So I asked them for all their top wines and they all laughed at me saying, oh, you should have been here 3 weeks ago. And so I just chose a wine called Chateau Petrus. Why? Because it had a beautiful label. It was like ridiculously nice. It was, and at that time it was like $120. It was really, really expensive. And I just thought it was such a beautiful bottle. Went home, did the research, and found out that that was probably the worst fifth growth at that time. And I thought, man, these guys tricked me. And then I started buying Beaujolais Nouveau. And again, something, I was like, they tricked me again. And that's really what drove me to learn more about wine. Not that I was upset, but I was like, these guys are so smart. They were able to, through labeling and different words and, kind of make me buy wines based on elevated, elitism. And so I really found that I wanted to learn more. I didn't want to get tricked anymore. And so that's kind of really what drove me into wines. As to value Bordeaux, there's one that I'm going to, I don't know if I've done the video yet or hasn't released. There's a wine called Chateau Malais out of Pomerol region. Unfortunately, BC liquor stores does not have it anymore. This wine is about $80. It's next to Chateau Petrus. It is such a good wine. I don't know if I released the video, but that wine is unbelievable. And I guarantee you that wine is going to go up in price. There's another wine which I will do a video on called Grand Village. It's out of the Chateau Lafleur family. It's like between $20 and $40 in the US. It's a crazy good buy. Unfortunately, we don't get this in BC, but for those in the US, if you get that, that'd be great. The wine that I like in BC, Chateau Ferrier. I just did a video on it. It's an undervalued Margaux wine, third growth. It basically, it was never produced for 20 years, including all the top vintages, because it went into Beaujolais, and that's why it never got its status. And so that is, to me, an undervalued wine. Sang-Hwa Sun, thank you so much for joining us. Pedro, thanks. I was actually scheduled to go to Brazil. I decided not to go. It's just too busy a schedule, but I hope to get there. So Kenneth, yes. And in fact, you're mentioning Maceto. I actually have a bottle of 05 Maceto that I would like to open shortly. And hopefully that will happen in the next couple of months. The last bottle of Masetto I drank was with a bunch of people, and I actually didn't get a lot out of it because we were just having so much fun. So I'm going to go back to a little bit of my reminiscing of some of my videos and things. I did a video in September of 2021 on my wine room. It's not that impressive, and I hope the message that I have to people is it doesn't matter. I'm supposed to be a guy that drinks a lot of wine, supposed to be knowledgeable. I don't have a huge cellar, okay? And so the size of your cellar does not matter. Just do what is good for you. Take care of people in your life. Take care of your family. Take care of your health. Take care of your job. This is a side thing. This is make sure that you do the things right and put this in perspective. And when we talk about wine, don't get into fisticuffs with people over wine arguments. It's only wine. And so really try to, take it with a grain of salt and enjoy the experience of drinking wine. In March of 2021 or 22, I did a video on Screaming Eagle and the second flight. I'm surprised it doesn't get more views. It's 4.6K views, but I hope people watch it. And same thing, I did a video in September of 2022 on Le Pin, one of the most exclusive wines in the world. And it only has about 2,800 views. So I hope people will go and view that because it is kind of neat to have. In September of 2022, I did a video on the Romany Sylvain 1997 DRC. And I really hope that I encourage people to go back to those videos. I think I did some of my best work in 2021 because it was COVID. I didn't have anything else to do, and I took a lot of time in my process to do those videos. So I really think some of my best videos came in that time period. In November of 2022, I did a video on Saint-Emilion. And then in June of last year, I did a video on Le Carme's Haut-Brion. And I really think that that is a very important video to kind of view. The reason being is that that video kind of changed my mind about Le Carme's. Before I knew anything about Le Carme or drank with the winemaker, I had certain preconceived ideas about Le Carme's. And that's, again, keeps on reminding me that sometimes we have to have an open mind. And after I drank with him and understood the wine, I could appreciate it. And I was looking at the wrong thing. And so I really appreciated that time that he spent with me and we went through the wine. So that's kind of my view. In November of last year, I did a video on Argiano, the Wine Spectator Wine of the Year. And I think I'm one of the few people in the YouTube world that actually thought that it should have got Wine Spectator Wine of the Year. And again, this goes to, we should have different opinions. You might not agree with me, but I believe based on the ownership change and what they've done, that this wine is for real. And that's kind of been proven with the next vintage. The 2019 again had 95 points. I think it will continue to have 95 points. I think Argiano will probably do a higher end wine. That's my guess. I don't know anything, but that's my guess. And in 10 years' time, when you look back at this video, you'll hopefully think that I was a person that was knowledgeable, because I really think the price of Argiano will go up. And for those who have not had Argiano in the last 4 years, it's a different wine than it was 10 years ago. In February of this year, I had the DRC 2015 Echauchon. And again, sometimes I drink wines very young. But if you don't drink them, you won't know if they are young. And a lot of times that's what happens. I see a lot of people saying, hey, you're drinking Trophy, you're drinking this wine too quickly. It's too young. But if you don't drink it, how would you know it's young? And so that for instance, I just drank a 2015 Lynch Bash 2 nights ago. Should be very young. It was fine. It was great. Can it age better? Yes, it can. But was it drinkable? Very drinkable. And so, if you go by the ratings, it's too young to drink. But you missed out listening to someone else. And so, for those people that have the ability to do that, can buy these type of wines, and again, just buy in accordance with what you can. Don't be pretentious. Don't let other people pressure you into going to buy wines that you can't afford just to look good. But if you have the means, then try out at different times. Don't listen to the experts. You should have your own opinion. And if you drink it and then you say, well, these are way too young, they were right. At least you've got your very knowledgeable opinion. Just gonna go back to the comments. Sung Wasun, yeah, okay, so you got a Chateau Mallet in 2018 and you had it with a beef omakase, okay? I hope, no, tell me how it goes. I hope I'm right. So that wine, the 2018 needs to sit for about 3 or 4 hours. It is really tight. So it does need time. You might want to double decant for 10 minutes or set it aside for 4 hours. But the beef will help it. And please tell me what you think. And I did visit Seoul. I think there's a lot of potential there. I think the Korean market is a pretty novel market at this point. There's a lot of growth that can happen, and I hope that that people really do take that into account. So, oh no, little swirl. Thank you for joining us. I don't know if you're just joking about this. I hope you learned something, but I know that I learned a lot from you. And Yijun from Taiwan, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. And again, I appreciate all you guys staying with me. Again, it's not really structured. My videos are not structured. Even this today is not structured. I've got a couple of notes here, but I just kind of say what I need to say. Hey, Patrick, thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. One of the things I want to highlight is I've got 2 other channels, obviously, and I hope that you will kind of support those channels. One is Trophy Food Experiences, which I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers and almost monetized, and the other one is Trophy Travel Experiences. And you may be asking, well, why do I separate 3 channels? And to me, it's really important to be very serious about it. So on this channel, I try to really be serious about the wines, and it's very technical in terms of the knowledge. And although I welcome beginners, a lot of times for beginners, I might say things that might not be at a beginner level. And there are other wine YouTubers that are great at the beginner level. And that's one of the reasons why I actually don't follow a lot of the so-called named wine YouTubers, like the professional wine YouTubers, because they're generally more suited towards beginners. And so my YouTube channel assumes that you're going to be drinking higher end trophy wines. Again, the channel is not meant to be entertainment. Like you just view it and you say, well, Chateau Petrus. This is aimed at people that will either have Petrus in their cellars that are going to drink or aspire to one day drink these wines. There are, of course, I do some value wines, but most of the time this is not about me telling you about a wine and then you kind of just viewing it. It's hopefully educational in terms of when you drink the wine, you can look at my video, get some history, and then also compare tasting notes with me. So that's kind of the point. And likewise with my food and travel channels, they're very specific in terms of the food content and the travel content. So some people are just interested in wine. They're not big on food and they're not big on travel. Likewise, some people are big on food, but they don't drink wine. So that's why I separate out the 3 channels, and I try to make it very, very knowledgeable, knowledge-based, so that people that are really into travel, I think they'll gain something from it, and people that are really into food, they'll gain something to it. So that's kind of why I kind of structure it that way. Wilbur, from AZ. Is that Arizona? I think it's Arizona, now traveling to Taiwan. So anyways, thanks for joining me. The other thing I wanted to highlight is a couple of my early viewers and subscribers. So these are people that were in the top first 100 people that subscribed. And I hope they're still with me. And I hope, I note some of them, but I hope that some of them could send me a comment later on and just say they're still with me. So the first person that was a subscriber to the channel, I don't think I know her, is Kathy Lee. Then was 6201 Alex007. Then there's a person called Magic Time Wine Channel. And actually, I subscribed to him. He's out in Napa Valley. So he's one of my very early subscribers. EKL Chibu, I sometimes see messages from him or her. So Ozan Bacchus, Wolfgang Diesenbold, Johanna, Yabin Karlana, and Hong Jen He. These are some of my first subscribers. Then I scrolled down to about the first 150, and I noticed some names, and I want to shout out to them because they've been with me for so long. Corey Z, I always hear from you, so thanks so much. You've been with me for like 3 years and put up with me. Aaron Perry, I haven't heard from you for a while. Hope you're still with us. James Warren, Anthony O'Donnell, Noah Cap. I also hear from you a lot, so thanks a lot for being with me so long. And now I'm going to go to getting over 33 minutes. Sorry about this, guys. But now I'm going to talk a little bit about Chateau Petrus 98. I'm not going to go through full review because I want to leave that for another video. So I'll let you know I did open it earlier today, and I have a little short video on me opening it. It opened perfectly. The cork was beautiful. It was like the heavens opened up. It was such an easy bottle to open. It was great. And even when I opened it, I could smell the aroma right away. Again, it's a really great bottle. Really happy. I've had this one, I think this is my third time having Chateau Petrus 98. And I've always loved this wine. So I'm gonna let it, I had it with lunch, with pizza. And then I'm going to have it all through tonight and then probably taste it again tomorrow and then do my review at that time so that I get a number of tastings. And that's the other thing with wines I've learned through this channel. Two important points. One is to give it time. Don't kind of rush it. Spend the time with it, a couple of hours, in my situation, 2 days. So I can drink it over time. I can let it let my mind process it. I can let kind of things kind of grow on me. Very good wines evolve. And so when I drink a bottle of Chateau Petrus, it's almost like I'm drinking 15 different wines because it's tasting and smelling different each time. And so if you rush it, you're going to miss out on that. The second thing I've learned is to trust the wines. With good trophy wines, don't be so protective of them, saying, oh, they must be with beef, they must be with whatever. I find that these wines are really good, and they stand out whatever you do with them. You can almost eat them with anything. You can serve them in any occasions. And I gained a respect for these wines, and I trust them now. I don't really worry about them very much. I worry more about value wines and how they show, but good wines I never worry about now. I just pop and open and let them breathe and don't do a lot of handling of them. The Opus Overture, JV asked me to do a review of Opus Overture. I'll see. I don't even know if we'll get it in BC wines. And so JV, he has also asked me about my opinion on some high-end second wines. So my view on second wines is that in general, unless you're talking about the top level, that means, and I'm only talking about Bordeaux because I'm not as familiar with second wines in the Napa Valley other than Screaming Eagle, but I would put Screaming Eagle in the same category. I would only buy second wines if you are talking about the first growth level or equivalents. That means the first growth, Cheval Blanc, Ossand, Lafleur, and then I would put Screaming Eagle in that category also. In general, I like to see that the second wine is 1/3 of the price or less of the first wine. So if the first wine is, let's say, $600, then I would like to see the second wine, at $200 or below. To me, that is then a good deal. I don't encourage people, at least my personal philosophies, I don't really like second wines of other, second, third, fourth, fifth growth. Because I think a lot of that has to do with marketing, and that has to do with name. And you're better off sometimes drinking, in terms of quality, a wine that has no name than a second wine. But the second wine is prestigious sometimes. And so if you're doing it for business, maybe that helps. So what Kenneth said is, wine is all about experience, and knowledge is built up on, it's like a Rolodex. I totally agree. And that's why I encourage people to drink. Of course, wine education is so important. But I find that a lot of people study about wines more than drink them. And it's just like, oh, I study about all the places in the world. But you haven't been there. It's a totally different experience if you've been, talking or watching a video of Great Wall and being there, or being at the Grand Canyon, or being in front of the Mona Lisa alone. It's a totally different experience. And so I really, really encourage people to drink and experience the wine themselves and form their own opinions. Of course, wine knowledge is important, and that's why I've always recommended people to at least take a basic wine course, to get some knowledge and to learn how to taste wines and how to assess wines. Wilbur, how should we store the wine overnight after opening? Okay, room temp. Okay, so this is how I do it. I open this wine, and then I should have shown, I have a little kind of aerator that I can kind of pop up the air, and then I put it in the fridge. So wine oxidizes based on room temperature. And so if you put it in the fridge, it slows down the oxidation. And so that's what I would do with this wine tonight. And that's why they want you to store wines at a lower temperature in your wine cellar. In general, the shelf life of wine halves every degree that you go up in temperature. So let's say you have a Chateau Petrus, and it should last 100 years. And the optimal temperature is 17 degrees, and your room temperature is 23 degrees. That means you've halved the shelf life by 6 times. So 100 years would be 50, 25, 12, 6, 3, so about 6 months. So something like that. That's how it works in terms of heat kills wines. And so same thing with this. So some wines, let's say you're drinking a 2018 or 2020 Bordeaux, you might want to air it a lot. So I would put it in room temperature. Most of my wines, I like to control the oxidation. So likewise for this wine, I've had it out for a couple of hours. I don't doubt it's going to last longer, but tonight, overnight, I will put it in the fridge and then take it out tomorrow. But I would not recommend putting in room temperature. Once you open a wine, aerate it and then put it back in the fridge. And then when you want to drink it again in the next day, take it out maybe 2 to 3 hours beforehand so they can get up to room temperature. Thanks very much, Liu, for your congratulations. Appreciate it. Jay, you have had some I've had some beautiful experiences with second wines. I don't want it first to mature, but yeah. So that's great. You enjoy the second wines. Everyone has their own opinions, and I guess I haven't drank Scarecrow for many years. My impression of Scarecrow is a pretty big, bold wine, and that's not usually my style. But again, it's other people's style. I should go back to it. It's pretty expensive, and in that price range, I'd rather drink things like Harlan or Bond or Screaming Eagle that have a little bit more cachet and also a little bit more star power. So Raptor asked me about, have I tried Ceylon? Okay. So again, Ceylon is a great champagne. Personally, that's not my taste preference, I would much rather honestly drink Ace of Spades, 2 bottles. I think it's about twice the cost of Ace of Spades. I'd rather drink 2 bottles of Ace of Spades, honestly, than Ceylon. Ceylon's good. I'd rather drink Krug, honestly. But again, that's personal preference. It's a good champagne. It's on the creamy side for me, and it's not distinctive enough. It's kind of a little bit mellow from my perspective. But again, it could be, I don't have a lot of experience. I probably had 3 bottles of Ceylon, and I can't even remember what vintages. So I'm not an expert in Ceylon, but that's just my general impression. I'm just reading the list for, yeah. I usually prefer not to put open bottles in the fridge. It depends. I mean, I've had good experiences with that. Having said that, most of the times that I'm drinking or opening wines, it's because it is, so there's two. One is that a lot of times when you see me do my reviews, I've already drank with someone else and they've left a little bit of the bottle for me to taste overnight. And so there's very little left. So if I actually left it at room temperature, it'd be a huge amount of oxidation. The second thing is I do drink a lot of, or review a lot of newer wines. And so let's say I was drinking at 66. Although I did that same with the Chateau Violette. I think I left it in the fridge overnight too. But it's worked for me, let's put it that way. So again, everyone has their own kind of viewpoints on that. Thanks for your comments, Jay, on my Bordeaux series. I hope that helped everyone. And I hope to do it again. I did a reclassification of the Bordeaux wines based on pricing, and I'll probably do that again in about 5 years. And I have, Jay, I have not done a review of Bond, but I believe I have done a review of the Maiden, which I liked. And I should also do one on Harlan eventually. S. Barry, okay. I actually don't visit London a lot. I actually stop over through London, and just because it's pricey in London. So I actually use, when we travel to Europe, we have to go through London, but I don't usually spend a lot of time, but I'll let you know if I'm ever in London. Okay, so it's been 45 minutes. Sorry to keep everyone, but let's go through the tasting notes of this wine. So this is, to me, Petrus has always got this, what I call glycerin smell or glycerin taste. And what I mean by glycerin, it's a sweet, but it's got a little bitterness at the end. I don't see that with any other wine, not with Lapin, not with anything else, okay? So on the nose, it's got that really great balance of oak with dark fruit, with some floral components, and almost a kumquat skin. It's a slight bit of acidity or freshness there, and then that glycerin smell. So it's very funny because I wouldn't say Petrus is a heavy wine, but it's very intense. But it's not heavy. It's very light. It's very flowing. It's almost kind of in between a Bordeaux and a Burgundy in terms of feel. It's a very, very soft feeling wine. So on the taste, chocolate, dark plums, berries, like blueberries, blackberries. And then you get like a cocoa type component to this. Milk chocolate, very smooth. And now, I'm talking about 30 seconds later, you get a little bit of a almost like a graphite charred, a charring on it. Really beautiful wine, so smooth and so elegant. And I wish everyone had the opportunity to drink this wine. I think if everyone could drink a Chateau Petrus, they would love wine. It's so balanced and so easy to drink. I think any wine beginner who drank this wine would still love this wine. They probably wouldn't want to pay what it's going for, but would they love the wine? Yeah, they would. Okay, I better end this video because I'm going on and on and on. But I'm going to just keep on answering the questions. Okay, La Mission Opinion, Jade, I'm doing a video shortly on an 83 in the Mission Opulon, and I can tell you I've had I got quite a few bottles. I got I think 4 bottles here. I've drank 2, and it's a spectacular bottle. So it's going to be I'm going to have good things to say about it, but I hope to get to that in the next month or so. Will we do Latache by the glass soon? Oh wow, I gotta go where you're going. Where is this? 67 Pall Mall. Okay, you're doing Latache by the glass. Holy smokes, how much is that going to be costing? But I'm interested. Wow, maybe that's worth a trip to go there. It depends on the price. So Petrus, behind me, I went to 99. I don't think there's that many bad bottles of Petrus starting around the 98 vintage. Again, I don't think, and going forward, I think with technology and with global warming, I don't think you're going to have those really bad years anymore. So I would buy new Petrus with confidence. I would be a little suspect on older Petrus because I'm not as familiar with them, and there's a lot of fakes. So anything above 98, I don't think I can't think of a really bad vintage of Petrus that I wouldn't drink. Maybe 7, maybe 7. That would be, but I mean, depending on the price, I'd still drink it. I can't think of any other vintage of Petrus I wouldn't drink since 1998, or it would be, thought it would be bad. In terms of sleepers, I drink anytime you get a discount on Petrus, I do it. I buy it because the quality is there. And so when you drink Petrus, it's about the characteristic of it. And I don't think, at least all the Petrus that I've had are all fairly similar in terms of character. This is a really great example of Petrus, but they all kind of taste and smell the same in my opinion. So John Davis, you mentioned that you like to drink wines. Yes. Okay. So everyone has their own kind of thought process on wines, but my thought process is I don't like to wait till the peak. I like to actually drink wines when they come up, because that tells me a lot about the wine, and that gives me knowledge about how to buy a wine. So that's why I do drink a lot of wines very young. I drink this once they're released, I drink them. Because again, when you wait till the peak, and then you have to, let's say you wait till, this wine is at its peak right now, okay? So now the new vintage of Petrus comes out and you're tasting it. Well, how would you know how this wine tasted when it came out unless you drank it? So to me, that gives me good knowledge about and that's really what wine experts do. They taste wines at the beginning and then they taste them later on because they're given that opportunity, and they can say, well, this wine is like this other wine in terms of their cycle. And so that's kind of what I like. I also find it quite exciting to look forward to, this is going to get better, instead of looking down and say, this is only going to get worse. And so that's just a personal thing. And I almost think it's very hard to catch it exactly at this peak. So I don't mind drinking things that are not quite ready, because I think that gives me knowledge, and it also gives me some perspective. It's nice to just see how things develop. That's my kind of experience. I don't really like drinking things on the decline, because that's kind of, in my mind, depressing, because it's kind of like, you can see it actually falling apart. That's not that fun. And that's kind of just how I personally, that's my personal philosophy. The Petrus, I'm going to give you a short answer, is spectacular. I can tell you, this is just my basic initial tasting, but my initial tasting is, I don't believe in the 3 years that I've run this channel that I've tasted a better wine than this. I can't remember another wine that I thought was better than this wine. This is really good. I'm so fortunate. This is crazy. 1K, 1,000 glass. I can't do that, Berry. That's a lot. I don't know. That'd be a lot. But if someone wants to treat me, wants to meet in London and treat me to that, that'd be great. Liu, okay. Liu, sorry if I answer, but what does it? Okay. So this is what I'll answer a couple of questions. one thing that I don't generally do is talk about the cost of wine because to me it's irrelevant. Like it's great for people. Wow, this is so much. To me, it's kind of irrelevant because. So what does that mean? I don't think is that somehow supposed to impress people how expensive this. I talk about the why. To me, it's not about the price. It's about if you have the means to do this, that's great. I actually, if you look at my videos, I almost never talk about price of wines because again, it's not a factor. If you have the ability to buy it, you buy it. It's not a big show off piece to me. I did buy it many years ago. I did not pay what it's today, obviously, because I bought it, I think, probably 7 years ago. And I bought it at HGH auction house. So, but I can't actually remember how much it was, but I can tell you it's probably not as much as the what it is today in terms of the market. But again, I really I try not to focus on how much. Wow, this is a $15,000 wine. I don't focus on that stuff. That's and I honestly, from my perspective, with people that I drink with, that never comes into play. No one that I drink with will say to me, "You know what you're drinking tonight is like $5,000." They never say that to me. We all just understand we're wine enthusiasts and we drink, and if you're fortunate enough to have the means, that's great. And some people are really generous with their sharing their wines, and that's great. But and I'm always appreciative of that. But I find it the people that make a big deal about how much it is, I don't think they're losing the point of the wine. It's not about wow, we're drinking a $10,000 wine tonight. It's about wow, I got the ability to try this, and I cherish that experience. And so I don't really talk. That's why I don't talk about pricing very much, unless we're talking about current value of wines, right? What it is today. Patrick, I acquired this from auction, and hopefully eventually I'll do a video on. I buy at auction with HDH in Chicago. I like them very much. I trust their provenance of their wines. I've been buying them for many years, and so I like what they do. Yeah, so Jay, and that's the thing. I hope that people find that when I really like a wine, that probably means a lot. Because I drink a lot of wines, I think. I drink a lot of really good wines. And so if something really wows me, I think it's not the score. You can tell that I'm really excited about something. And I hope that means something to people. I don't want to say every wine's good. I don't want to trash a wine. That's not my area, right? So you'll almost never see me trash a wine. That's not fair to the winery because, again, what I try to explain to people is that you think these people don't know how to make wines. They do. All these winemakers know how to make wine, but they have marching orders. They have certain segments. They have to have certain pricing. They have to make it for a certain crowd. That's what they have to do. Not every person can make a Petrus, right? Has the ability or the money to be able to go out and do a Petrus. If you gave them all the skills and all the terroir and all the land, yes, they could do it. But try to respect what people do. I mean, there's different markets for different wines, and so we really try to do that. And likewise, again, why I don't review a lot of bad wines is because I don't pick bad wines. That's not my thing. I don't want to, that's not a pleasurable experience for me to go out and buy a bad wine and then say it's bad. Why would I want to do that to myself? So generally speaking, I'm very careful about what I choose to put on this channel. And generally speaking, it's going to be positive because I like these wines. So that's why I bought them. Yeah, I agree there is part. Yeah. Expensive wine. Price is never an indication of how amazing wine. You're right. And again, I try not to focus on the price. I try to focus on I'm really blessed to have great friends to share wines with, and I'm really blessed that I have the ability to, purchase great wines. And so, and I try to respect that by not wasting it, and I try to hopefully through this share that experience with other people so that they can learn from my experience and my mistakes. Just got a 1995 Le Pin from Oxford last week. Yeah. So Le Pin is a great wine, also. And the Le Pin actually took me a while to figure out the wine. Now I'm on side and you can watch my video on it. The first couple of bottles, I just didn't understand it. And a lot of times that's a problem. When you first drink a wine the first time, you don't know what to look for. And it does take a while. So I would not recommend, even though I say this wine is so great, I would not recommend your first wine in the world that you ever drank a Chateau Petrus or TRC. That's probably not the best for your education. You do kind of have to drink a couple of bottles. Oh, that's what it's supposed to taste like. So you do have to build experience in Pomerol and then drink Petrus before you really appreciate it. Picked up 2 bottles of the Croix St. George. Yeah, so the 19 vintage, I think, is a great vintage if you get the right price. I don't know if the pricing is, but I'm kicking myself because I should have bought more in futures. It was during COVID. The prices were low. Quality was good. I just should have bought more, and I didn't. But the 19 vintage, I think, is a great vintage if you can get the right price. Yes, you're right, double wise. Yeah. So every winemaker has to work with the land and their budget. And so I don't really think it's fair to trash a wine. And so even when I have negative comments, I always say, hey, that's my palate. It's someone's work. And I mean, you can be constructive in terms of your criticism without being mean. And I'm really fortunate, on this channel, people are very constructive with their criticism of, the wines or my videos most of the time. I see some of the other channels, man, there's some mean people that just trash YouTubers for ridiculous things. And so I really think it's important to maintain that level of humanity, right? We're all people. And I'm a person, I love it when people, are happy that I do videos. Obviously, I'm upset when people don't like my videos, but I understand that as long as, they have the right intention. The intention is, hey, I want to try to help you improve, Trophy. So, I think I take criticism pretty well, but I'm really fortunate that I don't have any really mean people on my channel. So Jonathan, yeah, go to HH. I really like their auction house. I really think they are good people, and I think they're honest people, and I like dealing with them. Yeah, so Mallet, try that wine. I think it's going to get harder and harder to get. Okay. So I'll talk about blind tasting. I did a video about blind tasting. I think this is the last question I'm going to answer, and then it's over an hour. I've been on blind tasting. For blind tastings, first of all, I'm not a good blind taster. I can tell you outright. If I was a great blind taster, I'd blind taste everything. Secondly, I don't think it really is that important for a consumer like me. It's important if you're taking the Master of Wine course. But we as consumers don't drink wines like that. So if you do blind tasting, get everything right. So we give you a medal. But that's not what we do when I go out for dinner. I don't say to everyone, hey, let's go and blind taste everyone. That's not what we do. We just have wine. We say, hey, you brought a Chateau Petrus. Great, that's great. Let's have it. And then we talk about the Chateau Petrus, right? So, and you have to understand most people that you drink with are probably not, unless all your friends are in the wine industry or taking, wine courses. Majority of people in life just want to have a good time and just want to have a nice wine. You don't want to know everything about the vintage and the cork and the climate, and they don't want to blind taste. They don't want to have everyone go around the table to give you impressions. That's not fun to me. So I think it's great if you want to do it as a novelty, but I don't think you can, watching other guys, masters of wine, blind taste, learn a lot about blind tastings. They're masters of wine. They spent their whole life learning and sniffing and learn and tuning, fine tuning their nose and palates to this. And you think by watching a few videos you can pick up what they're doing? No, you can't. It's great entertainment. It's great. Wow, it's amazing we can do it. But that doesn't help you. And that goes back to my point that wine is about experiencing. These videos shouldn't just be for entertainment. You don't just watch them and somehow through osmosis get all this knowledge. No, you have to drink yourself. They could tell you everything about a wine and how to systematically taste the wine in blind tasting. But if you can't taste it yourself, it's no good. And so that's kind of my view about blind tasting. It's great to watch people. People can do it. I'm amazed at. But if you can't, don't worry about it. And I've never been big on blind tasting because I want to enjoy the wine. I would do it for fun, but I wouldn't do it, every night. Let's put it that way. I think I've gone on way longer than what I should have. I hope everyone has enjoyed this live stream. I've really enjoyed meeting and talking to some of my viewers and subscribers. And I really thanks Chris for signing in. And I really appreciate all the love that I get from this channel. And I hope you'll continue and keep watching. And I hope I'll try to give you some good content. So for now, happy drinking.